There are various types of operating mechanism. Today you are going to learn 5 types: swinging, bypass sliding, surface sliding, pocket sliding, and folding. Your challenge will probably be being able to differentiate between bypass, surface, and pocket sliding. They are pretty distinctive. I will explain further later. So the first one that we're going to go through is a swing door. Swing door is pretty easy. You have seen it and used it many times before in your drawings. Usually on plan, we will draw this swing line to indicate the direction of the swing. The door jams at the side, and the swing door is hinged on one side. If it's a very heavy or wide door, usually we will pivot not at the side here. Side we call it a hinge, okay? We'll pivot it at the top and bottom. If you go back to the first slide of this whole lecture, there's one pivot door at the most right hand side of the image. Okay, swing door is the most convenient design for entry and passage, as well as for isolating sound and weather tightness, because it's pretty tight in its installation. Okay, it can be used for both exterior and interior. The downside is that swing door, because of the swing, sometimes you swing all the way to 90 degrees or even 360 degrees, right? It will require space for you to swing. Okay. On the other hand, if we want to save space, usually we'll use a sliding door. The first sliding door that we're going to learn here is a pocket sliding door. As the name suggests, pocket. If you look at a sectional plan of this door here, this is what we call the pocket. It's called a pocket because when you slide, you're able to conceal this door panel inside this pocket. Okay, so how does this door work? It works on track and slides. So you have a track either at the bottom or the bottom or the top, and then you just slide the door into this pocket. As opposed to the swing, which occupies space, the pocket door will occupy the space within the wall. So when you leave this door open, you have a finished appearance, and usually it's for interior use only, because pocket has much more gaps than a swing door. If you use it for exterior, you're going to have water seepage issues that is not so maintenance friendly in future. Okay, and the third type is the surface sliding. So now let's move one step backwards. Remember how a pocket sliding looks like. It's within the pocket. Okay, on the opposite hand, a surface sliding is on the surface. If you look at this section plan versus the previous one, the door panel is on the outside here. Okay, the mechanism is similar. They run on tracks, except that this is surface hung, meaning it's hung on the surface outside. Okay, it's also for interior use. It is very difficult to weatherproof, again because of too many gaps. You have gaps between the wall and the panel, gaps at the top, gaps at the bottom. We have this risk of water seepage. Okay, now the third type of sliding. So we have gone through pocket sliding and surface sliding. The third type is called a bypass. As the name suggests, if you compare this section plan with this section plan, you have two panels, right? So we call it bypass because at any one time, it opens only to 50% of doorway, meaning one panel is fixed, this panel is fixed, this panel is fixed, and this is the movable one. Okay, you see this arrow dotted line. So if you look at this real photo, this is the one that is moving. So when you slide it open, you only get 50% of the opening. So in a way, it's not so efficient because I have two panels, but I can only open half the door size. Okay, mechanism is also the same as the previous two examples. You slide on overhead track and guides. This is overhead. This is also overhead. But the pocket one, they will run on the sliding can be, sometimes it's not at the bottom, sometimes it's at the top, sometimes it's either one. So for bypass sliding, also used primarily indoors. Sometimes we use it on exterior, like your sliding glass door, okay, or sometimes in gates design as well. Okay, and so far we are now at the fourth type, the bifold door. Bifold is pretty easy. I think some of you might have it in your HDB bathroom, those smaller bathroom. Because of the size, we are limited by a standard door size, and then we will use a bifold door. Bifold door is very lightweight. You have hinged door panels. These hinged door panels, meaning between this panel and this panel, right, you have a hinge here, so that when you fold, the hinge allows you to fold. Okay, it can run on overhead track, and then you just slide open, so it's very clear here. Okay, for interior use, it's usually used as a visual screen to close off your storage. We have also seen it in exterior, but you will probably need overhang here because again, so many sliding components, you have a lot of gaps. With gaps comes in water seepage. Okay, so when you design a door, think of the practical use. Okay, the last type is accordion folding door. Usually this type you will see a lot in banquet halls when you, or even in big office spaces, and you want to separate a big space into two zones, so you can use the two spaces separately, and that's where you will bifold many times. It's like a bifold door, but this one is like you're sliding open many folds. Okay, again it's for interior use, and you subdivide large space into smaller rooms. Alright, and then we have a special folding door. As the name suggests, it's a folding. Okay, this is also folding, but this folding is continuous, right? If you look at this folding, it's actually segregated pieces. Okay, so when do we use this? You use this when you have a curvilinear path, like example, this kind of track design, and in order to mitigate this curve, you will need to break your panels into many pieces so that you can slide them individually across. Okay, so again, it depends on your space planning. If your space planning has such a design and you want to segregate the space with a screening, then you will need to use a special folding door. Okay, okay, the last one is the overhead door. Overhead door, very easy. It's like the top hung window that we learned. You slide it overhead. It's a hinge door. Always remember, it's either a pivot or a hinge. Okay, this hinge here, it will cause it to roll upwards for both exterior and interior use, but it's not frequently used. Usually, this can be manual or mechanically operated, depends on the size, and we use it for warehouses, etc. Okay, so now we have come to mini part 2 of this part 1 exercise. Reflection. I want you to think which type of door is suitable for exterior use. The answers are there, but this is to summarize what you have learned. Which type of door is most acoustically sound for interior use? We have learned a few doors, the bifold, the sliding. There are so many types. Which type, in your opinion, you think is most sound for acoustic screening? Okay, and the last question, which type of door you think will express your architectural concept in your house project? This is important. Take some time to understand the door design. Okay, and the last part of this part 1 is more technical. We're going to learn about door leaf construction. The 3 basic components you have to know. Door leaf. The leaf is actually the panel itself. We need a frame to hold the door, right? Ironmongery refers to your lock set, your handles, even your hinges. Okay, these are the operating mechanism. So when I say ironmongery of a door, immediately you think of all those metal pieces that helps to support the door. Okay, now 3 types you need to know. MBP, okay, M for match board, P for panel, F for door are flushed. MPF, okay. All 3 types of door can be in different materials. The most common type of door that we see in the market is timber door. However, do not misunderstand that timber door means the finish is also timber. Sometimes all the doors, they come in timber form, but you can actually have aluminium cladding outside. You can have your metal cladding inside. Okay, so the other common types of door we see are glass doors as well, right? Okay, matchboard door, the first door that we're going to learn. Okay, visually, right, you see all these panels. It reminds you of matchsticks, right? It's something like that. Okay, matchboard door is actually very farmhouse kind of door. You have all these vertical panels, and then it's supported by this frame that goes around, and cross bracing in the center for structural stability. So a few terms that you need to know: the style, okay, the brace, hinge. Hinge is always the pivot point, the hinge that connects to the wall in order to swing the door. Okay, you just need to know this is called a style. This is the brace, and you have a rail. Okay, rail is the horizontal one, style is the vertical one. Okay, then after you know the general terms, right, we zoom into the detailed annotation. You have top rail, middle rail, bottom rail. Alright, so this is the first part. Then now let's look at the detailed drawing. Do not be scared when you see a detailed drawing. Again, I think the emotion is empowering. You know, you feel empowered when you're able to read detailed drawings. In future, when you go out to work and contractor give you a door shop drawing, you must be able to tell what the drawing is saying. Okay, therefore you need to identify all these terms. What is a rail? What is a stile? What is a bracing? You know. Okay, so now that we have gone through the basic, you can understand, right? This is the elevation. This is a section of the door. So if we look at the section, again, we will see top rail, bottom rail. Okay. And here it says tongue and groove boarding is used for water tightness. If you look at the previous timber lecture in semester 1, we have learned about tongue and groove. Tongue and groove is very tight. When it's tight, you reduce the risk of water seepage. Okay, and joints of frames are mortise and tenon. Joints of frames meaning, right, when you have your top rail connecting to your vertical stile, this corner, okay, which is this corner here, they will use a mortise and tenon joint. And I know some of you tell me it's a thumb drive joint. Okay, it's a thumb drive joint. Okay, then matchboard. Okay, matchboard was the matchstick kind of design, right? So a paneled door is the most commonly used door that we see around us. It's basically a panel. Okay, basically you have a frame. This frame that goes through, same as the matchboard. Okay, however, the matchboard, remember, is many vertical pieces, right? But the paneled door, after the frame, you actually infill one panel inside. This panel can be timber. It can also be glass. Okay, anything that you want. Basically just timber and glass. Timber thickness is usually 38 to 45 mm. Okay, it can also be particle board or plywood. Alright, so let's look at some details. This is the bottom profile. Okay, now let's take some time to digest how we get this section from this profile. If you see here, this matches here. So when you look at this piece here, okay, these edges are usually molded because in this section it shows a rectangular profile, right? But in the actual crafting of this door, when they build, right, they will mold some details for the door. Okay, and there are many kinds of molds in the market. It really depends which one you choose to have. Okay, as an architect, you do not need to know how to construct this door, but you need to be able to understand how to read a drawing because in future you'll be given the choice to choose the type of molding or door design that you want. So it's a very nice feeling, you know, you get to choose what you want. Let's say I choose this one. Then after that, when a contractor submits job drawing like this, you must check. You know, sometimes they will play cheat, so-called play cheat lah. You know, they give you this kind of profile. Then you remember, this isn't the profile that I chose. I chose this profile. So why is this not drawn the way I chose it? Okay, this is where you pick up mistake. You circle it and you say that it has a certain profile. You know, so you do not need to know how to draw this exactly, but you must be able to identify and tell the contractor this is incorrect. Okay, you know, that is the empowerment that I say. You know what you are reading. Alright, so if you look at variations of the paneled door, there are many variations. As an architect, you can even design your own variation. They can make it for you. Alright, then again, the detailed drawings. Now, don't feel scared. Remember to feel empowered. You have a top rail, the stile. Okay, these terms are pretty consistent across the different types of doors, a stile and a rail. Okay, let's rewind a bit. In matchboard, remember there was a cross bracing, right? Diagonal, but in a paneled door, you have this vertical bracing in the center. Okay, both doors also use stiles and rails. They are all plywood usually. There are some standard sizes in the market that we have here. Okay, generally you just need to know that it's about 100 mm for the top rail and the bottom rail is 200. Okay, that's why you see this unequal size here. Middle rail is usually a dimension that's somewhere in the middle. That's why you have a 175. Okay, things to look out for are the standard sizes like this and the thickness. You realize it's either 38 or 50 mm. Okay, so again, depends on your design, which thickness you prefer. Sometimes it's also to do with fire rating, which you'll learn more in year 2. Okay, the third type of door is a flush door. Flush door is super common as well for contemporary design. You need to know the different types of flush door. We call it a solid core or a hollow core. Okay, this flush door, right, the material can be plywood or hardboard facing. Solid core are timber strips or particle board. Hollow core can be cellular or skeleton. I know you won't be able to understand based on this text. I'm going to show you some images later. Okay, so let's go to the images now. This is a typical hollow core. As the name suggests, hollow means inside the door, right? There is hollowness, but of course you need some bracing to support the door, right? So that's where this framing comes in. Again, you see the same word repeats. It's a rail. Okay. Then you have stiles. The vertical parts are the stiles. And this is a skeleton core flush door. Okay. There is another type in the market. We call it a cell core. It looks like the egg crate cell. So again, how does it relate to you as an architect, to your profession? Okay, next time when you choose a door, you can also opt for, you can specify in your drawings, I want a cellular core or I want a hollow core. It depends on you. Of course, you also need to choose based on your knowledge of fire rating, etc. But at least you know the market. There are 2 types of such. And when the contractor, sometimes they propose to you, they say, oh, Mr. or Mrs. Architect, can we propose egg crate cellular core? And then you ask yourself, so should I say yes or no? And you learn that, oh, hollow core, there are 2 types, and both types, they work the same function. Okay, so based on your knowledge, you know that such things is in the market and you can approve it. Therefore, you need to know all this. You don't learn it for nothing. Okay, and you need to know the typical thickness, because sometimes you think that you want a 42 mm thickness, but you need to know that in the market there is no 42 and it's expensive to custom made. Okay, so again, feel empowered to have all this knowledge in you. Okay, and for flush door, flush means it's flat. It's flat with the wall. You don't see anything protruding out. If you look at the paneled door just now, remember the moldings, they all protrude out. If you look at the matchboard door, there are some details that protrude out, but in a flush door, it's all flat. Okay, you have a core strip. Okay, this is a solid core, so you have a core strip. And then on the outside, we will paste this timber thing called a laminate. Okay, it's a laminate. So you see here, this profile, you have laminate with the core and then laminate. Alright, then look at the typical thickness as well.